Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly recorded debates of Zero's political hellscape. It took me like 30 minutes to get like 4 people in here. But anyway, the topics we'll be discussing are, let me find the topics we'll be discussing are intellectual property rights, abortion, prostitution, and NASA's plans to colonize the moon. Who wants to start with intellectual property rights?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Let's talk about
it. Yeah.
I don't believe in intellectual property rights.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Yep, same here.
I'm of the opinion that intellectual property rights are a machination of the human mind and are entirely subjective and based on one's point of view, and they have no bearing in the real world.
Well, I also believe that there's no scarcity on it, so you shouldn't be allowed to own it, kind of. And like, there's no reason there's basically an infinite supply of ideas, so there's no reason anyone should like monopolize it, I guess, in my opinion.
I am not really informed on the subject, but I have to agree that it's dumb, just because it'd be ideologically inconsistent if I agreed with the other position on it, which is it's good. And like, I mean, everything goes with the whole thing of everything should be communally owned, or rather, like, people should be able to work off of ideas.
Well, really, like, it's just kind of a construct that like you can own an idea anyway. It's like, yeah, you can't really own it.
So, like, having a state enforce these intellectual property rights on you is kind of
the only way. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that, but I was saying it's gonna be dumb. But yeah.
Well, things though, are there not many reasons as to why a person would want to go ahead and perhaps be in favor of property rights, Amu?
Of intellectual yeah, there are reasons you'd want to.
There's no reason why a person could be in favor of them, but since the government, as well as many people who support the government and what it stands for, are in favor of them, surely this would prove that there is some reason.
Maybe no, there is a reason. There is a reason. I just disagree with the reason.
Oh, okay.
The reason for it is that they want to monopolize basically their idea. They want it so like, oh, I made this piece of media. People can't also make this and claim it as theirs. So that's the reason why.
I'm of the opinion that until such a time as it would be in my interest to go ahead and be in favor of property rights, I am currently against them.
Yeah, I'm pretty much against private property rights and intellectual property rights. Personal property, I mean, like, there's a distinction there, but as far as private property and intellectual property, yeah, it should be abolished. I'm getting a major
yeah, Bimler, I think. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement here. Like, I mean, do we want to move on to the next topic, or do we want to just keep talking about this?
Sure. Okay. Well, abortion. And specifically, we're revisiting this. None of you were here before, but like when this was a more local, like a few people were on here, we discussed it. But now that it's a hot topic because Alabama did a dumb shit thing to do, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm of the opinion that it should be allowed up until like birth.
I'm of the opinion that it should be allowed up until the moment of birth, because it reduces responsibility upon the male, and considering that I am a male, I like that a lot.
Well, I just don't. I believe that a woman should have the right to choose what she wants with her body, I guess. That's my
What Alabama's doing is ridiculous.
Well, thing is though, it's not their body, is it not? It's the body of something else. I mean, this is a clear scientific fact. And
it's something growing. It's something growing inside of them, and they should have the ability to get rid of it if they don't want it.
It's a parasite. Okay, it's their parasite, and they can do what they want with it. No.
Why should they have the ability to get rid of it?
Okay, wait, hold on. I can field this one. Okay, so if there was somebody that was lying on the street and they had kidney failure, is it up to you to be to give them your kidney?
Depends on your moral standpoint. Some people would say yes. I personally would say no.
Yeah, but nobody can force you to do it, right? So just in the same
people
way,
can force you to do it. People
well, I
can
mean, I
force you
suppose
to
they
do
could,
it.
they probably could at the threat of a gun, but there's no. You don't think that somebody should force you to do it? I should say.
Hypothetically, what if I did?
What, you think that people should be forced to like give their kidney away to somebody else if they don't want to?
Yeah, for the sake of the argument, yeah, sure, why not?
Really?
Yes, what then?
Oh, I just completely disagree with you. I just don't understand why you think that would be tenable. Like, why do you think that?
Because I want it to be so, and thus I go ahead and align my beliefs with my my moral preconditions for whatever I believe, just like you do.
Oh, okay. So if somebody had the ability to take my heart or my kidney or whatever, I should, under your idea, not have any say in that?
Depends if it goes to a cause that I believe is good and just. If it goes to a cause that I believe good and just, then yes, you should have absolutely no say in what happens to you.
Wow, geez. Okay. So what you determine is good and just, how is that how exactly are you going to draw that line? So if I think that it's good and just for me to have several hearts and you to have no hearts, then that would mean that I would kill you, right?
Yes,
It's
however,
good and
that would
just.
disagree. That would most likely disagree with my line of reasoning. My line of reasoning, I never claimed that it was objective truth. I just claimed that it's a subjective moral line, which I'm going to continue to toe.
Okay, so how exactly would you be able to draw that line though? Like, if it's all subjective, there's no way for you to know.
Well,
Then
yes,
what would be the
I
point
would
of even
draw
making the argument?
I would draw the line wherever I want to draw the line, wherever I am comfortable drawing that line, which would most likely be based upon my own moral conventions, which are heavily influenced by the society I live in, but also can be radically different from the society I live in as a result of that society. So
Okay,
essentially, it's a
you
matter.
can.
So essentially, it all comes down to subjective morality, and neither of us would be able to go ahead and provide any sort of objective bearing for our morality, as morality is inherently subjective. It's inherently based on your own personal preferences and personal opinion of the people around you and what they should and ought to do, in your opinion. Just like
Well,
I
that's an
shouldn't go ahead
interesting
and force
position.
people.
That's an interesting position, but I would contest that you can actually, if you're logically sound and you think that you can actually do it, I think that you can basically boil down moral goods and moral bads to increasing health and well-being and reducing pain and suffering.
Oh well,
So I suppose.
who decides what's health and who decides what's health and well-being, and who decides what's pain and suffering? If I go ahead and let's say whip someone, but they're consenting to be whipped because they like being whipped because they're a masochist.
Wow.
I'm inflicting grave bodily harm on them. However, they're deriving intense mental pleasure. That mental pleasure being sexual in nature. And so, am I doing something good or bad? Which one takes priority? The physical damage I'm doing to them, or their emotional pleasure from it?
Sure. Now that would basically be boiling it back down to what I was saying, increasing health and well-being and reducing pain and suffering. If it increases your health and well-being to be flogged, right? If that is something that brings you joy, that is completely up to you. But when it involves somebody else, now you're having a moral conflict, right? Or not, sorry, not a moral conflict. Now you're having a conflict of basically rights and freedoms. So I should have the freedom to do whatever I want, right? But as soon as that freedom interacts with somebody else, then you're basically having a conflict with their freedom.
Why should you have the freedom to do whatever you want?
Why not? Why shouldn't we?
Okay, no. Answering a question with a question is a logical fallacy and will inevitably lead to a spiral in which the end result is the destruction of the conversation and a circular logic of questions versus more and more questions. And so I ask you, why should I go ahead and allow people that freedom? Why is that freedom necessary? Where do you derive it from?
Where do I derive it from? Personally, I just think that everybody should have the right to be free.
Okay, so that's your own subjective moral opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, So
I never said that I'm a moral absolutist. I never said anything of the sort. What I asked you in the first place was,
well,
do you
okay,
think
so,
that it is
okay,
personally? Do you think that it's right for you to be able to take somebody else's kidney to save your life? And if you think that it is, then the argument that I was going to make isn't going to work on you. But I'm not going to sit here and have an argument about moral absolutes because I don't believe in moral absolutes.
and neither do I. And neither do
Okay.
I. And so the position is inherently one in which neither of us, well, are going to be able to gain any ground because it's as subjective as me not liking a certain flavor of ice cream and
Okay, well, I
preferring
think
another and you preferring
I
another.
think what he's saying, Bimler, is like, do you agree that people should not have their kidneys? It's like
If
taken.
it's for a cause that I believe is good and just for the purposes of the argument, I am for stealing their kidneys and replacing them with probably nothing and just giving
Wait,
them
so
to
for the
somebody
purpose
else.
of the art, are you just playing devil's advocate here?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Okay.
for fuck's sakes! Nobody in real life actually believes that, and if they do, they're like completely insane.
A lot of people do, because a lot of people believe in the idea of trying to maximize what they believe is to be good. For example, many people would say it's okay to go ahead and take somebody's kidney to go ahead and save the president because the result would be political instability, which would kill millions. And so it's better to
Okay,
kill
fair.
that one guy and then save the president, keep the world order currently intact, and then keep most of the world nice and stable and avoid millions of potential casualties.
Okay. You know what? You do make a good point here. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to counter by saying the majority. I was wrong. Not nobody, right? But the vast majority of people do not agree with that position. So if you're in a situation where everybody gets to choose on what our moral standing is, right? If we're going to decide through laws or whatever that our moral standing is that we don't take people's kidneys if we just fucking want to, then the broader community has made that determination, right? So then your argument would basically be moot.
So your opinion is that the majority of people in the world, let's say I present another scenario in which a king, he must forcibly impregnate the queen because of some sort of marital issues that they're having in order to produce an heir which will produce a stable throne and then keep the entire kingdom stable. Nobody dies, everyone wins apart from that one person, versus the king dies, there's no heir, the empire collapses, everyone just suffers innumerably in comparison to the one wrong versus the potential millions of wrongs resulting from this unfortunate situation.
Here you are again. You're equating my argument with an absolute again, right? I already said the majority would choose to not do that, but in that small one-time situation,
I'm not equating your morals with absolutist morals. I'm asking you: do you believe the majority of people would allow for this one wrong to occur, and then go ahead and prevent so many other wrongs, or do you believe that many people would say, in fact, this one wrong is as bad as the million other wrongs, thus I will allow the entire kingdom to collapse?
No, and I literally just explained that by saying I'm not a moral absolutist. So yes, once in a while I think that it might be okay to do that, but the majority of the time, the vast majority of the time, if it wasn't going to save the entire kingdom, yeah, sure. The majority of the people, majority of the time, whatever.
Okay,
oh my goodness, are you really going to have a semantic argument?
Okay, everyone. We're kind of getting off topic. The original topic was abortion. I have no idea what the fuck we're talking about right now. So
we're talking about moral absolutism.
Moral absolute. Yeah, that's
yeah. So okay,
Alabama.
We'll go back to my point. Okay. The majority of the time, the majority of the people are going to decide that grabbing somebody off the side of the road that has working kidneys, pulling out their kidneys and putting them in somebody else is probably a bad thing. So why don't we extend that to the thought of a baby and a woman, right? Why should we give this baby free vacancy inside of somebody else's stomach if they don't want them there?
How do you know the majority think that?
Are you serious?
Yes, you claim the majority believe something. I have not claimed anything of the sort. I'm presenting my own personal, well, it's not even my personal view, it's just a devil's advocate position, the devil's advocate in this position would then go ahead and pick you up on your
what that
claim.
is being
How do the majority of
pedantic.
people think
What
this?
that is being
How do you know?
unbelievably pedantic and paying more attention
Well,
to
not really.
semantic arguments than the actual argument.
Semantics are the basis of the English language and every other language. Without semantics, language
Oh, yeah,
itself,
no,
the
one
concept
time-
But
would
here's
not
the
one-
thing:
exist.
I'm not interested in having a semantic argument. I'm interested in how we. I'm not interested in how we go
We're not
about
having a
things.
semantic argument.
Hang on.
We're not
I'm
having.
not interested in how we go about things. I'm
Can you
interested
stop?
in the things
Can
we
you
go
stop talking
about.
over me, please?
So
One time-
no, would you
Can
stop
you stop
talking over
talking
me?
over me,
I'm
please?
interested in how we go about things, not how, not the things that we
Right.
go.
No, right.
I'm
You
interested
claim
in not
that
how
the
we go about
majority
things,
Oh
of
my
how we go
people.
about
God,
You
this
claim
is
that the
hell.
majority of people agree with you. You claim that the majority of people agree with you. I have not claimed anything of the sort. So I am asking you, how the hell do you know anyone agrees with you? How the hell do you even know the majority, let alone agrees with you? How do you know
Okay,
this? You have
hang on,
conducted
hang on.
no polls.
Okay,
According
okay,
to
hang on.
every-
So there's four other people in this room. There's four other people in this room. If everybody else think that it's morally
so hold
okay.
on. So hold on. So now we've narrowed it down from the entire world to even the United States. We haven't even discussed that. So we've narrowed it down from
Guys,
the entire world
stop.
to
This
four-
is adorable.
to
McCease
people.
trademark. McCease. Anyway, this kind of really got out of hand. Like, holy shit. Anyway, one time, I'm just gonna say that in this argument that's going absolutely nowhere. With this note, one time, Bim, where we were having a debate or discussion or whatever, I said the word objectively, and he's like, "Hold on a second. You said objectively, but is that a,
No, it's more like you made it. You said X, Y, and Z is objective truth because whatever reason. I said, wait, that makes no fucking sense. How can you prove that? And then you couldn't come up with anything. Then we got into this kind of rabbit hole of
I guess.
objective versus subjective, and then we kind of just ended it.
So you
Anyway.
love semantic arguments, basically, is what you're saying.
Not really.
You
It's
can
more like
argue
one person making
argue about definitions all day
one-
long, but it's not going to help anything.
It's not talking about definitions. If one person says my view is objective, absolute truth, and the other person says, "Okay, that's bullshit. Prove me wrong," and
I
then the
wasn't
other
in that
person
conversation,
can't make
so I don't even
any.
know what you're talking about.
But basically, Zero said X, Y, and Z is objective truth because whatever. I forgot what this specific argument was about. And then I said, okay, that seems like bullshit. Prove me wrong. And then he just couldn't prove me wrong. I said, okay, so you're wrong. He wouldn't admit he was wrong. And then we kind of just got into this back and forth. Amu then interjected, stopped it, and then we carried on with whatever the previous discussion was. It was like an ANCAP game of bingo or some shit.
Okay. Well, this is completely derailed the actual conversation. So why don't we get back on topic?
Sure. My position on abortion is that it should always be allowed for any reason, as so long as the man consents that the whatever is being aborted should be aborted. Pretty much.
Oh, actually,
As long
I
as
would
the- as long as the
disagree
man
on that.
I think it should be the woman's choice, not the man's.
Yeah, I don't think that the men really has any say in it at all.
I
I mean, he
disagree.
can
I
put
think
in
the
his
man should.
opinion, but
I think he should have the
Sorry, go
final say.
the man should.
Yeah, I think the man should have the final say over what the woman does with inside of the womb.
But isn't
So I'm
it-
going to give
isn't
you.
it
I'm
like
going to give
the-
you my. I'm going to give you my opinion on that, but I'm not going to make an argument because I know that you're not going to argue in good faith on it. But as far as I'm concerned, the man shouldn't have any say in what a woman should and shouldn't do with her body. That is completely up to her. But as far as you're concerned, I'm sure that objective truth doesn't exist. So everything is just left up in the air. So basically whatever
I'm
you
not
say.
saying I'm not saying objective truth does or doesn't exist. I'm just saying I have yet to meet someone who has got this massive scientific evidence and truth and all that other shit to prove their brand of morality absolutely infallible and absolutely correct.
Right. So that's okay again, and I shouldn't have said that because that just derailed the conversation yet again. But what is your opinion on what I said?
My opinion is that you are wrong on the account of me not believing in objective morality. My stance is that I just have yet to meet someone here, and so I treat it as I do with the idea of God. I simply could not give less of a shit. Prove me wrong. And then
Why does the man get a say?
In regards, because it benefits me to have a say in whatever I impregnate does. In this case, a woman. So I want to go ahead and say, let's say I go ahead, and my
Oh my
opinion is
God.
that the woman shouldn't have an abortion because
Wait, so
I'm
what if
emotionally
it's what if
attached to
it's
this.
like two people? What if it's two people that are completely like unrelated to you? What do you think should happen? Like they're just some people on the other
it-
side of the world. You never met them.
So you just went, yeah, that's a good question too, actually.
Did I
You think the
impregnate them?
man? No, they're just two random people you never met. But basically, the woman wants to get an abortion, and the man doesn't want to.
Then the man should have the final say. The woman shouldn't get an abortion.
Wait, why? You said
But why? It
the
has nothing to
reason,
do
but
with
your
it.
justification for
My justification is that
say, right?
my justification is that as a man, this entire system of law would benefit me greatly, and thus I promote it. I
Yeah, but
prefer
okay, so let's
that
say
system of law.
let's say you like a fucking like dictator or whatever. You're excluded from the law. What would you do for like random people
Not really.
like
Not
below?
really. It's more akin to Islamic society, in which the man is held on such a high pedestal that the woman is below property. She's just an object to be owned,
Okay,
bought,
so
sold, bartered with.
Are you making an actual
Okay.
argument right now? Is this
Yeah,
what
are
you
you,
actually
wait.
believe?
So,
Or are you just
Himmler,
saying
what
this to
I'm
be
asking
edgy as
is,
fuck?
you're completely separated. You're
Wow,
completely
you are
separated
all
from the situation, right? It has nothing
okay.
to do with you.
You're all talking over one another. Hold the fucking phone. One of you speak at a time.
Okay,
Okay, hold on. Let me go first. Do you actually believe this shit, or are you just saying this shit to be edgy, dude?
Or are
No,
you
I
playing
genuinely
devil's
believe that I would.
advocate?
I
You
genuinely
genuinely believe that
perceive.
women should be property because it would benefit you?
No, no. I said I believe that it is. I said it is akin to the Islamic system of law, where the man is held on such a high pedestal that the woman is below property. She's just a thing to be bought, sold, owned, and bartered with. That's what I said. I said it's like that. I never said it is that.
I don't see the
To
difference.
what extent is it like that? Though?
Yeah, no, I
You
don't
don't see
see
the
it.
difference because you don't pay attention to semantics, as you already said. So if I say
Oh
something
my
is like
god.
it, if I say something is like that, I never
Uh-huh.
say it is that directly.
Okay.
So modern
How is it
feminism
like
is
that?
It's one and the same
Bimler,
to you.
how is it like that?
Yeah, good question. How's it like
Right,
that?
it is like that in that the woman has no say in whatever she can do with her own private matters. The man has the final say over whatever she does. In this particular instance, it's
Your
it's
only
abortion.
justification is because it benefits you.
Pretty much, yes.
Ladies and
It
gentlemen,
benefits.
the
So then, what's your
egoist.
justification for other people that aren't you? You said that in a situation where it
My
doesn't affect you.
justification would be to men. My appeal would be to men only, and it would essentially be like, I've written many speeches about shit I disagree with in the past. I even wrote a speech in favor of segregation, because why not? So I could probably think of a
Yeah.
better argument,
Yeah.
even though I disagree with it at the time, as of me writing whatever. But for right now, my argument would just be to men and would be like, women are getting rights. This is a threat to the male-dominated society that we hope to achieve and are currently attempting to maintain under
Wait,
the
why do you want to
onslaught
achieve a
of
male-dominated
female
society?
Bolshevism.
Because it would benefit
Oh yeah,
him.
I would leave
I
that.
totally understand this. I get it. I get
No,
it. I get your position. I totally do.
I would leave the reasons as to why you want that society up to the people themselves. My job in that sense, as the person writing the speech or writing whatever material I'm writing in this hypothetical scenario, is simply to provoke emotion. That is it. Whatever emotion was already there, just bring that out and transform it into the political emotions
Okay,
that we
so
see today.
Bimmer, basically what I'm
Put it
saying, let's say
forward.
you're on top of the hierarchy or over other men and over women. You have consent. You have consent over every living human being. Should the men that are below you have power over the women that are below you?
No, they would not have power. Well, probably yes, because statistically, men are a lot smarter than women on a
I'm not
global
asking you
average.
what
But
I asked
And
you.
this,
also, hold on. And also, you would want the entire culture to want to have women as subservient because
no,
culturally, if that was
It
that
would
way, then
no,
it would
benefit
still
you.
benefit you as the leader.
no. I never said
What do
that.
you mean? No, that
And
just
also,
logically follows from your whole idea, from your hypothesis.
no, I never said that. Right? If
No, you didn't need to.
my ideal society would be one that puts me personally on a pedestal below everything
Okay, so let's
else.
say
Like
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
you
right.
if I'm
have that.
if I'm
You have
if
that,
I'm if
Bimmer, but
hold
then
on if
like
I, right as right hold, can I as right in Amu um in his scenario, I am some sort of magic fucking dictator who controls the entire globe and
Yeah.
everyone in it. I have consent over all living things. I am, in a certain sense, a mortal god over everything. In that
Yeah.
scenario, I've achieved my goal. I am literally the most powerful being in all of existence on Earth as of the current moment in this scenario. So there is no need for me to go ahead and promote
here's
my
the fun thing
entire
about
group
this. Okay,
over another
I have
group
to.
in order
I'm a
to go
very
ahead and
busy
achieve
man,
my
so
own
I have to
personal
go.
best interest.
Yeah, so then
I'm a very busy
then
person,
would you
so
say
I have
that
to
the
go.
women
So I
should
just
be
want to make
allowed to
one.
choose?
Sorry, I'm a very
I
busy
would go
person,
ahead
so I
and
do have to go. I'm going to make one more point before I do, though. So basically, I understand what you're basically saying, right? And I think I got a good understanding of your ideology. Basically, anything that does help you would benefit, is basically the way that you want to have society set up. Now, I'm just going to make this quick point because I actually think that this would benefit your hypothesis. If you did have the cultural norms taking into consideration that you want to have women subservient to you, right, and everybody else, right, but it also helps to have the entire culture think that women should be subservient. So you again have it easier for you to have the women subservient to you. I agree with your idea. It is actually logically sound. It does make sense logically. It's just terribly horrendous and stupid, and you'd probably get the bullet in the revolution. Okay, I gotta go. Talk to you guys later.
All right, bye.
Nice. Anyway, that's that.
I'm glad that person's gone. He kept talking over everyone, and it's kind of annoying.
To be honest, we were talking over each other a lot, so it's not just him.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
he kept talking over everyone else, including me.
Anyway, prostitution.
It should be legal. No questions asked. It should.
I don't support street prostitution, but I'm fine with like brothels and shit.
I'm fine with both. I'm fine with
As long as
whatever.
I think it benefits more I think as it stands now, yeah, it's really, really stupid and not effective and not, or it's sucking the life out of everyone, you know. I think in an anarcho-communist society it'd be more beneficial because they wouldn't be sucked into having to do it for
how
money.
would you have prostitution and how would you that doesn't even make sense. Wouldn't that just be like someone being a thought? Like
I would be in favor of of the idea of sexual communism. I would be in favor of the socialization of the sexual interactions. I don't really see much opposition to that unless it's forced upon me. If it's forced upon me that I have to share my dick with everyone, then nah, I don't think I'd be into that.
No, I mean like in an anarcho-communist society, someone who actually genuinely wants to do it. I believe a lot of these prostitutes start out as prostitutes because like it's fun for them, and then they have to get it to do it for money, and then the U.S. it's illegal,
just like
so there are
being
a
a
lot of other
thought though?
implications.
Like that's just being a thought. That's not being a prostitute.
I don't know. It's generally like
being a prostitute means that you're getting some sort of favor in return for your service. If you're not getting anything because you're not allowed to be paid because you're not allowed to use your body as a means of production, then you're just a hoe.
Yeah, it's no different than just like sleeping around with guys for like in high school and shit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not being paid for it, then you're not a prostitute. You're just a dirty hoe.
I don't know.
In the words of evangelical Christian, Mr. Batman.
No, I don't think that people who sleep around are bad, but I agree. It's no different than just.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, re-education isn't on here, but he probably definitely would have some good points about this.
I'm of the opinion that it should be allowed, no questions asked, and the price of it should be. I think the market should basically just drive the price into the fucking ground, so it's easy, cheap, and accessible for everyone.
Mm. Yeah, I think that just aside of street like you shouldn't be on the street being a prostitute, but then as long as it's in like a fucking like concealed area and not open to the public, I'm fine with it. That's my opinion.
Why not open to the public though? Because if it's open to the public, the price drops down even harder.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like out in the open, I guess.
Well, yeah, but like again, if it's out in the open, the price drops even harder because everyone's free to sell their wares.
No, you can go to you just go to like a building to do it, like where you're closed off from public eye. Like the actual sex, like you can advertise it, right? Like on the side of the road.
Oh yeah. I'd be okay if people were on the sidewalk advertising their wares. However, if they just started, blowing each other in the middle of the road and in the sidewalk, I feel that although I personally wouldn't mind, it would probably be a big eyesore to many people. and so I
Well,
understand the
yeah,
need
and
to.
I wouldn't. There's also like the aspect of like kids. I wouldn't want kids to see that.
Well, yeah, that's would be my main concern. I personally, as a mature adult, would be okay with it because it's sex. Sex is sex. Nobody cares. But see, like the general
But if
public
you're
is
like if you're like
composed
a
of
7-year-old, if
people.
you're like a 7-year-old kid, you wouldn't want to like fuck. That would like fuck over your like you'd not be innocent anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want that for me. Well, not yeah, I probably wouldn't want that for me as a 7-year-old or any of my fellow children at that point. And so, I think that it should be yeah, like the promotion of it, like the selling of it and all that stuff, and the actual buying and selling of these goods. It should be able to take place in public. However, the actual doing of these goods and services should probably just be best conducted in private.
I sort of agree.
Yeah, like advertise all that other shit, but when it comes down to it, just do that in private.
Do you have anything to say about it? I guess not.
Yeah, pretty sure this conversation's just become you and me at this point. Zero?
He's doing
Do
something.
you have any sort of?
He's in the middle of something.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I'm just looking
their
up in
robot
debate.
while I'm waiting.
Alright, I'm just looking in debate one text. Oh boy, it's it's an interesting site.
Mm. Do I have environmentalists as a tag? No, I don't. It's a mage. Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of getting boring. Do you want to leave?
Well, let's wait for him to get back.
Yeah.
Oh. NASA's plans to colonize the moon. I don't know that much about their actual plan.
I'm assuming it's something like the Space Force, where NASA will go and colonize the moon, then the Space Force will go and just fucking invade it.
Nice. Anyway, I
don't
think
know.
that I think it would be better if it was done by private companies.
Why?
Well, I think because it would lead to like that's kind of the people who are most in that direction, anyways. And NASA just can't get like proper funding and stuff. And
I agree. NASA is overly bureaucratic, and I don't want the government controlling literal fucking space.
that's not.
I think
I don't know. That's necessarily my problem. I think it's just like I think it would be better if it was more of run by companies. They're usually better at colonizing stuff than governments.
True. I also just don't want the government controlling space. Well, actually, on a certain level, I do, but I feel that colonizing and militarizing the moon, it might take it a step too far.
I don't even.
Yeah.
I don't know what my stance would be on this. I just someone mentioned it. I figure I'd put it in as a debate topic.
Oh.
What's the next debate topic?
That was it.
Oh.
I'm trying to get other people on here, but
Well, yeah, we can just go back over some other stuff. Like if it's not long enough.
I mean, I don't know.
I might be able to get some people on from the hub. Let me see. I'm gonna ask. Let me ask some people.
Okay.
Do you want me to or no? I can like.
Go ahead. I don't know. So, okay, we should go back to abortion because I guess a lot of this was semantics-based arguments. I suppose I'm going off of what other people said. I don't have a thing. I don't know. I think, and this is not based off of a devil's advocate, like, subjective whatever argument that the Bimler was doing. I think that it should be completely allowed, because it's kind of pointless to, like, especially with what Alabama's doing, that's horrendous. Especially since, considering the fact, basically what they've enforced on everyone is that now an 11-year-old child has to bear her rapist child because the law says so. And I think that's a really stupid position to hold, especially, like, is this person going to be able to actually take care of her child? Is this going to benefit anyone?
You do realize that the law provides an exemption as to where, if the maternal health of the mother is in grave danger, there can be an exception. So, pretty sure that if a 11-year-old child is carrying a baby, they would most likely, grant the exception, considering that would be of a big concern to the doctors, the parents, the lawyers, everyone involved, really. And so, the child's health would probably not be in question, considering they probably allowed the abortion in the first place. So what you're doing could be described as disingenuous.
What I could also extend it to, like, general rape. Say a 26-year-old woman.
Okay, that would be more applicable. However, in that case, there's no reason in terms of the law, how far the law is concerned, as to why they shouldn't bear the child. Because it's not going to impact their physical well-being in such a way as they will die. Otherwise, they would grant the exception. And the child has committed no crime, and in the eyes of the law, at least. And so they should be born according to the law and according to the moral guidelines behind it, as well as the general reasoning of it all.
I mean, I think it goes into the... I'd also give the stance that women should be able to do whatever they want with their bodies, especially if they have a...
Well, it's not their body. It's someone else's body that's residing within them.
It's technically, depending on what stage we're talking about of gestation.
Okay, let's say it this way. I think that women should be in charge of whatever is inside their body.
I was about to say gestation, depending on the stage. It's a literal living, breathing parasite inside of them, because one guy decided to have
Alright, I got a
sex.
tanky who can join us.
Oh boy. Okay, let's do it.
Who's joining?
Robosexual.
Oh god, no. What the
you really
might leave.
Okay. I'm not against that, by the way. Just clarifying. You're really hard to argue with.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, but you've always lost an argument against me, so I imagine you have hard feelings.
No, I mean, it's not. I don't have hard feelings. It's just I'm just basing it off of everyone else hates you.
Well, pretty much everyone who hates me, they've lost an argument against me.
Huh.
I mean, Amu can testify that, especially for the people in the hub, and especially Robosexual. My last argument with him lasted a total of about 28 seconds before he submitted. Well, he didn't submit, he just kind of just left the VC. And the argument basically just consisted of him making a statement, me asking if he's read any political literature regarding that statement, and then him leaving.
I don't know, this is Mr. Skellington who's joining right now, but first tanky on the server, I guess? I don't know.
That's him. He's joining.
I'll just... what roles? Just Marxist-Leninist for now?
Yeah, just do that. He has... Yeah, that seems like it would work. You can also put transhumanist, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like that. I'll give you a list of his roles on another server.
Everyone on this server is gonna watch this debate on my YouTube channel later, and they're gonna be like, "So he let the guy in again. He let Bimler in again." God damn it, Mark.
The people in here. There's a reason why I left the first time.
Surprisingly enough, I do not have a Stalinist role.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Don't like. I don't know why they have Marxist, Leninist, and Stalinist because they're kind of the same thing.
What else? Okay, so that's actually all I... Oh, environmentalist. Frickin' tankies. Anyway. I'm all for left to unity, but make shit. Like, holy shit. Some of these people.
I sort of agree. I'm like very I'm still capitalist, but I like the left a lot.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're still gonna get, Molotoved in the revolution, but no, I'm kidding. Not by me, at least. I don't know about anyone else. Or if it's gonna happen, it's probably not gonna happen.
The revolution or the Molotov? Because both seem very unlikely.
I mean, I see just a random Molotov-related incident happening more likely than an entire full-scale revolution in the United States, but...
Yeah. But basically, I like leftists a lot because I'm a former leftist. Well, depends on how you define leftist. Sometimes I still am included because I'm basically like a liberal. But
Liberal, that's not left. Okay.
yeah,
continue.
yeah, it depends on your definition, I said. But but yeah, so but yeah, I'm really like my enemies right now is like fascists. So
Yeah.
because they just like would want to kill me and lots of people I know. So like yeah, it makes a lot more sense to.
Thank you for at least being against fascists, but thank you for no longer being a liberal, because I don't think that anything they stand for is actually legitimately left wing. They are not a comrade of mine.
I'd say that like if it weren't for economics, I would be like that's the only thing. I have pretty much other positions. Every other position
Okay.
I agree with leftists on.
A lot of these equality issues that a lot of liberals are hard pressed to put forth and resolve they can't do that with capitalism, especially like, okay, the tanky's on here. Hello, hi. Anyway, I forgot what.
Oh, you were saying a lot of like you kind of cheap egalitarianism with liberalism. Yeah.
It's hard to do exactly what liberals want, especially, and they focus on identity politics, which I think, sure, I mean, we can have a black bureaucrat if you want, or a black gay transbian bureaucrat if you want, but I mean, that's not going to do anything. It's just going to be...
Things though, don't you focus on identity
sort of
politics though?
What?
Don't you focus on identity politics as well? Just being, the identity is different. Instead of black or white, it's the worker versus the capitalist, or the worker versus the state, or the worker versus insert some other enemy.
No, I mean, by identity politics, I'm focusing on liberal identity politics, which doesn't care about that at all. Anything left-wing related liberals don't care about. It's always like race or gender or sexuality or something like that. And I think intersectionality would be...
I care about like working class people. It's just like I think that the way like it's kind of like a far off goal to try to do communism or socialism, and that it's not pragmatic.
Well, I don't think that liberalism is doing enough. In fact, I'd say liberals would side with fascists anytime they want to secure the power.
No, I completely agree with you, and I don't fully I'm not fully a liberal either. I'm probably more of a social democrat, but like yeah. So it's like it's just I think that there could be more done, but I don't think that like saying revolution of the working class is a way to do that, or anything like that, because it usually leads to bad outcomes, like fucking Soviet Union or
Well,
China.
I mean, typically things like that would be stupid, yeah, because I mean this is the Soviet Union and China we're talking about. Meanwhile, I don't think an anarchist has killed millions of people. Mainly because
It
I don't think
wasn't
it-
millions.
I
It
agree,
was
but
just
I don't think
thousands.
you can. I
and
don't
that
think
was
you can have a successful anarchist revolution as long as like statists exist, because they're gonna have a better organized army to go against you.
no, I mean armies would still be organized. It's just it would be bottom to top elected. That way, we don't have a military freaking dictator. You know, we'd and if we ended
I
up
mean,
But very like hierarchical, very hierarchical militaries are more effective.
the tank
yeah,
left.
I'm saying it'd be a hierarchy, but it'd be justified and it would be determined by everyone who would be at the top of the hierarchy.
Well, it's justified only according to your moral framework. To another person,
Oh
it
my
could be
god!
horrendous.
We're off topic. We are off topic. Let's get back to identity politics and why it's stupid. I actually focus on intersectionality, which is the study of how, or the look at how different types of oppression and hierarchy overlap to create this kind of thing. Like, for example, you can't end gender inequality just by ending gender inequality. You have to also get rid of everything associated with that.
Well, thing is, though, all politics is
agree.
identity politics. It's always about
You can't
one
just
group
make
of people who
you can't
believe.
just make women legally equal under the law and then expect that to. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
Well, thing
It's
is,
really
though, all
awful
politics
thing
is
to do.
identity politics. Isn't all politics identity politics? As all politics revolves around X group.
He already went over
against
this.
Y
He said
group on-
liberal identity politics he's opposed to.
Well, no, that's what he said before. However, he said
specifying.
all. Yeah, he specified beforehand. No, he's not specifying. He said
Okay, but you know
identity
what he
politics
means.
is
Ginger.
stupid.
That's entirely semantic based. You know, I assume you know what I mean when I say fucking identity politics. After I've specified that it's liberal identity politics, you're fixating on something that doesn't even
I'm
matter.
not from America. I'm not from America. You call the socialists the liberals. You call the fiscal conservatives instead of libertarians, etc., etc. You know, so you're gonna have to make some leeway as to you know what I mean about X, Y, or Z, because you totally have the same political framework as me to go ahead and work off and base whatever judgments you're making about me or my ideas upon. People come from different places in the world. The Overton window is different in many places in the world. Thus, it makes sense in an international discussion to explain what you mean instead of just assuming that everyone already knows what you mean.
He
Because
did
then it leads
explain.
to
No, he did
disagreements
yeah,
entirely
that's
explain
totally
it,
not.
though.
this.
I'm trying to. I'm completely also disregarding the Overton window because it's a load of bullshit, and it shouldn't matter in politics because it's purposefully trying to limit us in our what we can consider not extreme or good. Anyway, we're off topic. I'm trying to I'm trying to say intersectionality, and you know what I mean by identity politics at this point. I'd assume because I have specified it. It'd be liberal identity politics. The main three would be
So
gender,
what he's
sexuality,
talking
and
about,
race inequality.
I'm trying to guess here. What you're talking about is like the liberal identity politics, where you believe that like liberals believe people of color, women, other minority groups, and marginalized peoples should be given places of power within the liberal capitalist system, and that will help improve the system.
That's what liberals. That seems to be their only main concern. Is just like, oh, but if we have a black, trans, lesbian oligarch, everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And there is ethical.
So this is what he's opposed to, Bimler.
Okay, thing is though, inequality of power makes sense because not everyone has the same abilities. To apply egalitarianism in this manner will lead to disastrous results, and is in effect a lie. Not everyone has the same abilities in regards to many situations. Not everyone has the same aptitude at the same things as everyone else. And so treating everyone the same in regards to politics, in regards to assumptions of intelligence, in regards to education and many other things
I'm not.
It's all
We're not.
based on lies and political dogma instead of scientific facts, as well as statistical facts and other mathematical facts regarding race and IQ, gender and IQ, and many other things as well. And so egalitarianism, in any sense, it seems to mostly just be based on political dogma, which is based on lies.
I think the issue is mainly crap. What was I saying? You threw me off. I was gonna try to make another argument, but then halfway through it, I forgot what I was saying as you were talking. But
Basically, I just said egalitarianism is just one big lie.
oh yeah, I was gonna mention
That's
like I was gonna ask if you're implying like all the ability related stuff like disabilities and that kind of thing. I mean, those people would have to be accompanied in some sort of way. We're not just going to treat everyone the same. If they
Why
can't.
do they have to be accompanied in some sort of way? Why can't you
No, I
simply
mean,
just get rid of them because they're inaptitude at various tasks, and then replace them with people who are actually good at those tasks?
well, we'd probably be again in my ideal society, upon joining this commune, the only thing you'd have to be required to do, I'd assume, is sign a contract to decide what you're going to do. And if you can't frickin', I don't know, mind cold because you have asthma, or I don't know how that links up, just bear with me for a second. Let's not focus on that. But like, if you can't do certain things because of a certain disability, sure, you're going to probably have to do something else. And if you can't do anything, well, that's not any justification for you to not live in our commune.
So you would happily take on people who consume and then don't produce. Is that what I'm hearing? You would happily take upon people, groups of people who can't produce things, but only can consume things because they need to be alive because, well, they have the will to live at the most basic instinct. So it doesn't seem to make sense to me. These people will only slow you down. Why accept them into the commune in the first place if all they do is consume and they can't produce anything? Why accept them in the first place? Why not discriminate against those kinds of people?
I don't see it as morally justified, and we're subjectively.
Okay,
speaking
so-
in your language, subjectively, I don't see it as morally justified to treat someone
Okay.
like shit just because they can't do something.
Okay. So objectively, though, it will cause the downfall of your commune due to practical matters of logistics in regards to if you take, X amount of people who are disabled in regards to many things, and thus they're incapacitated and unable to go ahead and produce anything but only consume. If you take enough of these people, then your entire society will collapse materially.
Okay, but here's one thing as well. We already have more than enough goods to go around. Like right now, like that's not really a big
Yes, I
concern.
know. However,
Artificial scarcity.
However, it's still going to slow you down. If you get more than, let's say, I don't know, if 70% of your society was composed of leeches, these people may be leeches due to some sort of tragic accident that's happened to them, or maybe something that's out of their control. But that does not change the fact that they are leeches. They consume, but they cannot produce up to the capacity of anyone else, or perhaps they cannot produce at all. And so they are leeches in the effect that they are leeches. They can't produce anything. They can only consume. And
Do you
so,
know the
let's say
entire
the man.
purpose
Let's say.
of
Okay, can you not interrupt?
the
Can you not interrupt me? Right. If these people outweigh the producers, then your society will collapse materially. If these people are in the minority, but they still exist, then they will slow everyone else down. And so there is no point in my mind to accommodate these people who do nothing and then get something. However, you seem to think that it's okay to go ahead and accept these kinds of leeches into your society because
it's because
morals.
He's not like because of basic human empathy. It's like a thing that we have.
Well,
if you were in an accident, if you were in something you could not control, so you just put a bullet in your brain, or just left to die, starve, you'd be completely fine with that. You'd just be
no, because that affects me personally, and that would inhibit my ability to go ahead and do things that I want to do. However, in my ideal society, where I'm concerned with the primary functions of the society, which are set by me or somebody else who I agree with, then in the
In
best
your
interest
ideal
of that
society,
society,
children
having
would
it maintain
die
itself and then
because
having itself
Fuck
progress as quickly as
Fuck
possible
you.
to whatever
Kill
goals I
yourself.
want it to
Do a
possess,
favor to
Jeez.
society.
then
Oof.
okay, he
Okay.
can't debate.
I know
He
what
already
you
knows
mean
this.
now. I know what you mean now.
Yeah,
I'm
he
just
can't
gonna
debate at all.
make. Okay,
Is he
make
gone?
oof in the chat. He's gone. He's totally. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe he's one of those
that's what
people like.
will.
I'd assume maybe he's one of those people like he can't debate for shit, but he knows theory.
He doesn't know theory. I asked him how many books he's read. He read Das Kapital once, and then kind of forgot most of it, and then he hasn't read anything else since.
Interesting. We need another tanky on here.
Yeah, pretty much. You'll find that most tankies are very stupid.
A lot of tankies are kind of weird. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, but I mean, if we share, actually, depending on the tanky, I don't think I'd share the same goals with this guy. Well, I mean, the same end goal.
You probably don't. Honestly.
I mean, our end goal would be communism, but we'd like achieve it
No,
in different
his
ways.
end
I
goal
just
is not
get to it.
communism. He doesn't want to get communism. He just wants the state to control everything. Basically,
No,
he
Robosexual
wants.
does. I'm pretty sure. I think it's Papa Fita who doesn't. What are you thinking of?
Huh. No, because I remember in our last discussion you were like, Robo doesn't actually want communism. He just wants to stay at Stalinism and not advance any further.
No, I was talking about Papa Fita. Let me ask him. Let me DM him. Hey, dude.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Hey.
Either way, though, as I was saying earlier,
Dimmler, do you want communism?
Anyway, so Comrade Zero. Let's say that there were perhaps approaching 51% of the people in your hypothetical commune, which is based on contractual obligations instead of, just join my commune or I kill you. It's actually based on some sort of lawful basis. If it's approaching 51% of these people whom are leeches, would you take action to go ahead and remove as much of these leeches as possible, or just discriminate against them in stopping any more leeches coming, and so prevent the material downfall of your society because there's too many people taking, not enough giving, and so the mathematics don't line up, and then it collapses internally? Would you take discriminative action against these people?
I'm gonna ask, what are the odds of like more than half of my population being
answering
entirely?
Answering a question
because
with a question is a logical
this
fallacy.
example. Wait, sorry.
Answering a question with a question is a logical fallacy.
I didn't answer
it
a question.
Progress the debate.
I didn't
I
ask
asked you a question, did I not? That if your society was approaching 51% of the people who are leeches, would you take discriminative action against these people to attempt to reduce the population of them by expulsion or perhaps some other means, or just stop accepting these leeches?
Well, I mean, and I'm trying to say, I don't think that something, and I'm not going to phrase it like a question because it doesn't have to be phrased like a question and you won't get mad at me. Maybe you will, I don't know, I don't care. I'm trying to say that, like, I don't think 51% of my population would ever be completely leeches like you describe. Maybe 10% at most, and I mean, that's not a harmful number, especially depending on the size of the population. And I don't think most of these people would be so unable to do anything that it'd be really hard to actually get them anything to do.
However, I'm asking a hypothetical question. This hypothetical is designed to go ahead and test how far your bounds of morality go. How far are you willing to bend the rules in extreme situations? Are you willing to perhaps break with the orthodoxy of your established line of thought in order to go ahead and achieve some desirable goal, i.e., the maintenance of your society? I assume that's your goal, at least, the maintenance of your society. If it's not, then, well, you'd be an idiot. You'd build a society and then let it collapse internally and then just let it rot. I don't believe that you want your society to rot. So this is why I'm asking the question: about how far your morality is willing to go, if it's flexible, and if it's willing to bend or not. If it was approaching 51% of your population being leeches, would you or would you not take discriminative action against these leeches in order to secure the maintenance of your society through material means? Well, the material maintenance of your society through discriminative means.
Well, I'd assume there would be more subtle ways of going about it. I wouldn't, if we were gonna do something like you're describing, I don't think we'd just be like, okay, get out. And I don't think a lot of these people would die. Well, I don't know. Again, you said this is a hypothetical and it doesn't have to perfectly align with what would actually happen, ideally. Or not ideally, you know what I mean? But, I don't know, I'd say, yeah, that's a tough question.
So is your morality willing to give some leeway? Is it willing to bend, perhaps crack, or are you going to go ahead
Maybe
and
I
toe
could.
the line and then allow your society to just rot?
Maybe there would be a way of, instead of getting rid of these people, find more people who are able to do at least
No.
something.
No, there is no way. People don't want to go ahead and join a society which they can clearly see is rotting from the inside. I would want to join our society, and I doubt anyone else would as well. So applications to join our society has, well, dried up, for lack of better words. Nobody wants to join this society that has already been crippled by the fact that it let leeches in the first place, but is now actively rotting. That nobody wants to join this because they know what's going to happen if nothing gets done, and they're waiting to see what happens. So for the time being, the only choice is to get rid of the leeches by some means, or have your society rot and die.
Hold on, I'm answering Mr. 40's question. I don't actually know how to answer this question. I believe someone else who's probably a little more informed on politics in general would.
So you don't know how to go ahead and apply your own morals to situations which are complicated.
I mean, this one in particular, I feel like a lot of other things, like stuff that doesn't. I think it's disabilities specifically that is where you've gotten me. But
No, it's just these people, by hook or by crook, they cannot work for some reason. Maybe a large portion of your population suffer with crippling depression or
depression would
schizophrenia,
be-
or
You can work when
well,
you
no,
have
they
depression, dude.
Yeah, that's something like depression.
No, thing
would
is that
be-
no, I said crippling depression. I emphasized the crippling in order to go ahead and distinguish them from people who just have regular depression, who are able to go ahead and function in society. Maybe not as well as everyone else, but they can still function in society, rather than someone with crippling depression who is on the brink of potentially committing suicide or taking some other disastrous action towards themselves or others. They're not mentally stable or fit to work in any capacity. They need to be segregated from society, preferably in a mental institution where they can recuperate and perhaps be given some sort of treatment. But the time being, they're unable to work.
By treatment, I mean like there are antidepressants, but I mean I don't know too much about this crippling depression you're describing. Maybe these antidepressants don't work as well as they should. Is what you're trying to imply?
Crippling depression. It could
So
be.
do you think, Bimbo, where do you
uh,
think like crippling depression comes from typically?
A lot of it
usually,
wouldn't.
it could come from a dissatisfaction with one's own life, perhaps from the chemical imbalance in their brain, which has been triggered, perhaps maybe due to some sort of genetic fault within them that could have been passed down through the family line. Maybe the family line was tainted with some bad blood, as it were, which caused these genetic malfunctions. Or perhaps that they're just a sad motherfucker who needs to get up and start being lazy.
Okay, so assuming
I feel like a lot of
an anarchist commune is like actually succeeding or maintaining itself, do you think there's like a huge reason for people to be like super depressed?
No, not as much as in a capitalist society like America.
Potentially, a minority of people would be depressed at the fact that they have no property apart from personal property. Everything is owned by everyone else because it's
Wait, so you think that like owning property makes you happy?
That's kind
For
of
the, for the
dumb.
most part, this is actually kind of true. When someone purchases something, they feel good about it, which is why there are many people in the West who purchase things compulsively because they want their rush of feeling good for perhaps
So they get it.
maybe a
But they
day
get
or
it
two.
temporarily. But if you look at happiness
But
in the U.S.,
you're
it's not
describing
actually.
retail therapy, and
Oh yeah,
that's
no, happiness in the US isn't very good because the US it's not a good place
Poor
for many
people,
reasons.
so long as they aren't like starving to death, are usually more happy than wealthy
I don't know
people.
if that's true or not because I have no statistics to go on or look at, and I doubt you do either.
I think I have
Oh
a
no,
study.
I can find some.
I'll
I can find some.
I'll try find a study that shows that people like once you reach $50,000, your happiness doesn't really increase after $50,000 per year.
Yeah, that's
So hold on one
kind of
second,
plateau.
Mr. 40. Voluntary eugenics, that's a form of discrimination, is it not?
So if you tell someone that you're disabled and that this disability will go on to the hereditary system and it's best for them not to procreate, which is something they've done in Israel and has worked.
I just
Why is that bad?
How is like
They have-
one of the
Oh,
I
I'm not
just
saying
came
it's
up with a good
bad. I
argument.
agree.
the disabilities
I'm not
Bindler
saying
was
it's bad.
saying weren't
No,
genetic.
I'm not.
Like
I'm
crippling depression isn't
okay.
a
I'm
genetic
not.
thing.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying it's bad. I agree with discrimination on the basis that discrimination is good. It breeds competition and it weeds out the weak, and then it tosses them away or deals them in some way that would be see fit. That we see fit. However, discrimination in my mind is good. Discrimination in Comrade Zero's mind is an evil. It's bad. It's a component of capitalism, which is also bad, and many other things which are also bad, as well as social Darwinism, which is inherent in capitalism and thus is bad. So, this is why I give Comrade Zero this tough question to see how far his morality will go
I feel like,
and if it actually will conflict with the material reality of the situation.
regarding the topic of depression, I mean, a lot of this is like maybe they're depressed at their job. Maybe in capitalist societies that'd be hard to do.
It
To
does
find
not
a
matter
job that you
why
want
they're
to do.
depressed in the scenario. I said it could be because they have crippling depression, X, Y, and Z.
Okay, but I think
afterwards.
it does
It doesn't
matter.
matter.
It does
does
totally matter.
No,
Fine,
it kind of
fine.
does.
They have some
No,
sort of
listen.
they have some undiscernible disability physically, which prevents them from working in any capacity. There
Your
you go.
question has
I've made
very
it
little.
as
Your
broad
question
as
doesn't
possible.
really matter that much because it's a very unlikely scenario.
Exactly. Now let me
It does
finish
not matter.
I think a lot of people in this society that I want would be able to completely choose what they want to do as a job, since money is no longer a factor. They don't have to work at a McDonald's for years and years on end unless they want to. Well, not McDonald's, but an equivalent fast food related thing. I don't know if that would even exist at all in this society, but I mean something low end like that, just to make some money, because or people don't have to worry about like really good paying jobs that are like really not beneficial to them other than like monetarily and don't accompany what they want to do. In this society, money is no longer a factor, and therefore they'll be able to choose what they want to do and still make a living off of it. In terms of like, I guess you could call it social capital. You'll be known as the best guy who does this, or I don't know. So I think depression will be significantly limited because nobody will be depressed regarding jobs, or not that many people at least.
You may be right. However, it doesn't matter. The question is 51%, well, approaching 51% of people in your society are leeches. They're unable to contribute anything to society and they can only take from society in regards to material goods and services. So, would you take discriminatory action against these people? Perhaps reduce the population by expulsion or some other means of reducing the population of leeches, or perhaps refusing to let in any more leeches,
I
and
suppose
so keeping the population down, and then over time letting it reduce itself.
by that point, everyone would pretty much be the people who are able to make these decisions would come to a consensus. Are these people starting to become a problem? By this point, it probably would be, and then we'd take action of some kind. I don't know what it would be. We'd have to cross that
Wouldn't that
bridge
action
when we
be
get to it.
discriminatory in nature?
Maybe, I don't know. Depends on what would happen. can't
Well,
say.
no, if you're taking action against a specific group of people, and not against any other group of people, then you are discriminating against this group of people, correct?
Perhaps.
Well, no. Is it discrimination or not?
Huh.
Is it discrimination or not? And to answer the question.
Yeah, well, maybe I'd still give some of the people who are just like minutely disabled, who are still able to do a lot of things, but like there's a general, relatively large hindrance in what they're able to do and how they
Okay,
do it.
however, yeah, but what you do, that would be the minority, or perhaps no one in this scenario, which is very, very dire. And this is supposed to be a test of your moral equilibrium. Are you willing to bend the rules to fix your society, or just let it collapse because you won't change at all? So, it doesn't matter what you do with those small minority of people, perhaps 0.001% or even smaller. It does not matter because the overall statistic has not changed. So, is it discriminatory to target one group of people for things that are out of their control? They cannot change the fact that they're leeches. They are just leeches. By hook or by crook, they cannot work and they can only consume to stay alive. So, is it
I guess
discriminatory if you
we'll
target
give-
that group of people specifically?
I'll give the definition. Okay. People who are unable to do things and then having us take action because they're unable to do things is by definition some form of discrimination. But again, I'll mention this again because this is a legitimate point. I hope you realize this. Even if this is some sort of weird, crazy, pie in the sky hypothetical that you're trying to shove down my throat, I think the point is this is never going to happen realistically in any society ever. And there's no way that we're going to have to deal with this.
It's not realistic
Most
to have
society-
one person tied down on the train track and then have a train run across them, or run across another person, perhaps a crowd of people, as the old train, one train, two track hypothesis and thought experiment goes. That's very unlikely. Yet people have asked it because it's a common question of what do they prefer? Do they value all lives the same? Is killing one person as bad as killing 50, etc., etc.? It's a test of moral equilibrium. It doesn't have to occur in real life. It doesn't have to have any bearing in reality. All it does is have to go ahead and test someone's moral equilibrium. This is exactly what I'm doing to you.
My god. Okay, I admit, you genuinely have me stumped with this conversation, and I'll also admit I've never been good at debating people, especially you, with your knowledge or ability to debate, to put it neutrally.
In a realistic scenario, there'd be like 10% of people who are
Exactly.
actually the same. What would you do with
As
those
I said,
10%?
it's not supposed to be realistic.
Yeah,
It's
well,
supposed to be a
a
test
realistic
of moral
scenario, what
equilibrium.
would you do?
So, would you take discriminatory action against these people if you were on that council, which you said would, the commune, the council would take action against these people if they become a problem? If you were on that council, would you vote for discrimination against these people or against it? Would you keep to your morals as you see them now and as you promote them now, or would you be willing to bend them a little bit, try and make some changes, some adjustments?
I don't know.
So, well, that isn't a choice in this particular commune which you've set up, or you've helped set up because it may have been someone else's idea at the time. Who knows? So, you have to vote yes or no. There is no abstention. It's either you are for this,
We've been
and thus
on
the
this.
majority want this.
I
Or
guess it's my
you
fault
don't
that
want
we've been
this.
on this whole thing for the past, I'd assume 20 minutes, but this is
I'd say
getting
more like 25, but
20.
it's a very interesting conversation.
It is an
and
interesting
I
conversation, I'll admit that, and it's something I can't answer because I don't know.
So yeah, okay. So do you admit that you can't apply your morals to every situation, and so you don't know how to actually apply them in pretty much any situation in regards to any sort of a complex scenario such as the one that I have described? Even though it's unrealistic, many scenarios similar to it, which are much more realistic, could occur and probably would occur.
I
at
think
some point.
I think it'd be more the case of I can't find a way to determine like what would happen if, or I may not be educated in how other people with similar morals to me would be able to deal with this or have to deal with this. But
You
in
have
my case,
so
I'm
you're
not
not
too sure what to
educated
do.
enough in your so you're not educated enough in your own morality.
Well, I guess you could say that, but I mean, just in this weird example that you're giving me, I can't answer it, but I
Well,
suppose someone else could.
well, I mean, it's not really you could say that. It's more like it is or isn't. You either uneducated in your own morality, and so one could say that it's very responsible to hold these views, or even promote these views, or even make public these views without fully understanding the complexities of them and how they apply to the material world. And one could also make the argument that, well, actually, I'm not even sure what the opposing argument would be, apart from that it's okay to be uneducated in one's views. But that seems kind of a stupid argument to make.
I guess. Yeah, I think in an anarcho-communist society, I think people, just because the spirit of the revolution, at least at first, would be a lot more political. They'd know a lot more about what's going on. Maybe this kind of mentality would be brought on among generations, brought down to
So,
people.
so you leave it to other people to make moral decisions, which would then impact you for you.
No, I
You'd leave it
was moving
to-
off of that. I was just saying generally, like political knowledge would be spread down, unlike what the U.S. is, what's happening in the U.S. where everyone just kind of doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
I mean, okay, I guess. So, are you uneducated in your morality, or are you not?
I can't
Would
answer
you
this
make the
weird.
decision to discriminate, or would you not? I mean, there's many questions you've left unanswered here. I mean, you're free to not answer them and proclaim you lost the debate or whatever, or discussion, whatever this is, or you can provide some retort.
Zero, do you think productivity or the well-being of people is more important?
I'd probably have to say I'm kind of in a middle ground. If it's like, if productivity is good, but the well-being of people isn't, then I'll find a way to make it better. And if like vice versa, then I'll deal with that too. But if we can find a way to make a productive society and where everyone's has a really good well-being emotionally, mentally, physically, then that's
It seems that
the end goal of this.
It seems that there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts here, and
Yeah, because I can't answer a thing
I-
as something that hasn't happened yet. At least me,
well,
I don't know.
it's a moral question. It's not how you would deal with it in the moment. It's how your morals apply to the situation. I mean, your attitude towards the situation might be totally different when the situation happens. You could be like, oh, we should totally discriminate against the disabled. We should kick them all out. We should expel them. We should do this, that, and the other thing to make sure the population returns to this healthy balance. Or, you might say, we should let society rot from the inside because I'm unwilling to go ahead and compromise my morals because the situation would demand it in order to go ahead and achieve the results that I find desirable.
I don't know. I mean, and I think this recording is getting kind of long, so I'll probably at least end the recording, and then I actually have to do stuff for school tomorrow.
There are actually three options you have. You can choose to sort of have still have them supported through the system, and then just keep the country for federation going for as long as possible with the people leeching off the system, which might not last as long. You can have voluntary eugenics and tell the disabled it's very hard.
But voluntary eugenics is a form of discrimination, and
it's not. No, it's not. If you go up to someone and you say it's best for you not to have children because those.
However, I don't. Yes, it is discrimination. You're discriminating against this group of people. However, I am of the opinion that the discrimination is positive. It's good, in my opinion. It is discrimination in every sense of the word. But unlike other people, I don't go ahead and, recoil with disgust at the word of discrimination.
I don't think it's discrimination to go and say your genetics are bad and it's best for you not to reproduce.
What's the definition of discrimination? What's the definition of discrimination to you?
I would say it's like having a particular trait that lets you disabled to do something.
Okay, that definition is wildly obscure to me, and it seems that you've made that
I
up
mean,
off the
I'll
top
give
of your
you
head.
a dictionary definition if you want, but if you were just giving them a medical, if a doctor says it's best for you not to do X because of your condition, like if a doctor says you might have a heart condition because you're obese, I don't think that's
Well,
discrimination.
yes. Well, no, it is discrimination against those who are morbidly obese. They could see it as a form of attack on them. It probably won't. It probably isn't because I doubt the doctor cares much about what fat people think, all those other things as well. I doubt I would as I doubt I would as well. They're fat. They're unhealthy. They're going to die a lot longer, a lot
So,
sooner than me because I'm
I mean,
healthy,
I'd
etc.
much rather
Can I-
have if that's your sorry.
Can I do the outro to this video because I'm not about to have like a 3-hour long on my computer. I'd
Okay.
rather not. Anyway, thanks everyone. I'll admit, maybe I lost this debate that had this weird, obscene argument of something that's never going to happen and never will, just to test my morality. Whatever, etc. It's not time for you to debate. It's time for me to end this. Anyway, goodbye everyone. Please tune in next time if we do something next time. We probably will. Okay, bye. And that's the end of this. Oh wait, no. Hold on. I meant to do leave debate 1. Okay, goodbye everyone this time. Leave debate 1. Okay, bye.